Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. I'm coming to you from south of Memphis once again. We drove back up for yet another football game. Lost in overtime, kind of gut wrenching, but that's just how it goes. That's football. So, welcome to Module 1, Week 3. This is our last week in the foundation of positive psychology. Next week, we're going to shift our focus to the neuroscience of gratitude. You're going to spend 3 weeks becoming an expert in how we can wire our brains towards well-being, optimism through gratitude practicing. We're going to look at all the research that backs that up. But in the meantime, you're going to work on, you're going to wrap up your assignment for being a positive psychology researcher. It's almost time to interpret your data. I remember last week I told you about Brene Brown, who's a qualitative researcher. So she's not crunching numbers to figure out like what makes the meaningful life. She does narratives, interviews with people where she listens to their stories and then she looks for the common threads. So she calls her research with a soul. And so you're going to bring the soul to your research, which actually is kind of quantitative because you did a survey, but you're going to tell us what this means. You're going to tell us what it tells us about what it means to be human. You're going to tell us why it matters. I'm going to give you an example. I was just Zooming last week with a client of mine who's moved overseas, and she really wants to live in Europe, and she's thinking about staying. And obviously it feels like a huge risk, right? To be so far from home, to be away from everything familiar, to find work and settle down. And so we started talking about the role of optimism in making huge life changes like that. And so if I were to take that interview and turn it into my data interpretation, I would talk about like what I learned about optimism from her, why we need it, where we go from there. Okay, so let's transfer that now to your data interpreting, where you're going to take the numbers. 50% of your respondents said this, 25% said that. Well, what does it matter? What does it mean? And I think the strategy here is to ask yourself questions. If half of my respondents feel like optimism allows them to take risk in life, what does that tell us about the importance of risk, right? So those are the sort of things you're just going to start taking your data and asking yourself questions and let it come. Then from there, you're going to come up with some conclusions, and that's the interpretation. There's no right or wrong with this. There's just the way that you're going to kill this assignment is showing that you're trying to think deeply about it and come up with some conclusions due to it. Okay, after you finish that, you're going to do a fun assignment where you're going to look at mission statements from organizations and schools and businesses. And that from that, you're going to figure out what you value, and you're going to write your own personal mission statement. Now, at the end of the semester, you're going to revisit this after we've gone through a whole semester's worth of positive psychology concepts and theories, and then you're going to revise it in any way you think you should now that you have all that info. But this is our foundation. This is our launching place. It's going to be a concise statement that talks about the goals that you have in your life. Okay, couple nuts and bolts things. One, I don't grade the assignments until you've gone back and given the discussion, but here's something that you need to know. Canvas doesn't notify me if you just go back in and add to a discussion so that I can go back and grade it. So I need you to twist me and just let me know. And then I'm happy to give you that completed assignment grade. I want you to get that, but I just need that information first. Support tickets will start to go out next week. So if you're behind in an assignment or two, I'm just going to send you a reminder to get that stuff turned in. You have 48 hours to get an assignment in, without any, before we start doing incompletes and that sort of thing. So also, here's just a little housekeeping thing. When you're responding in discussions, just make sure that you're using each other's names. So you'll just, instead of just giving the response, say like, hi, Ian, hi, Sabine, hi, Kate, hi, just like use your names, because it kind of gives that feeling of being seen. And I think that just, it feels good. And so we're going to do it. Okay. So here's my last thing for today's video. I got the chance to interview Nick on what his idea of Nate, Nick, we don't have a Nick, Nate, on his idea of a perfect day. And he said it would be hanging out with his close friends, and it doesn't even really matter what they're doing. They're just like, they have uninterrupted time together, and they're just sitting around talking and laughing and enjoying it, and it's just fun. It's just gonna feel fun. He's known these guys since like 7th grade, so a real tight-knit group. And I'm curious, like listening to the simplicity of that, where's the positive psychology in that? Where do you see the PERMA model in that? Why is it significant? Why does it matter? So thank you, Nate, for that information about you. And I can't wait to hear what everybody has to say about it. Have a great day. See you soon.